Hey everyone, Jody here, sharing my lessons and struggles as I continue my journey navigating through life while healing. Only recently did I start opening up about my mental health struggles, hoping to show people they're not alone and there is no shame in seeking help. Yes, toxic relationships are hard, but do you know what else is hard? Your first healthy relationship after a toxic one. No one talks about how hard it is to unlearn all the toxic behaviors you adapted as coping mechanisms. How hard it is to convince yourself that you're safe now. I posted an image with this quote a few weeks ago to my Instagram stories and received quite a few replies, so I figured that would be a good post to make. And just to clarify, when I'm talking about relationships, I don't only mean romantic. It also includes friendships and family relationships, any type of interpersonal relationship in your life. If you've ever been, as in my case, an emotionally abusive relationship, then I'm sure you are familiar with gaslighting. And holy shit, that is something that just sticks with you years after you're out of that relationship. Everything is your fault. You are convinced you're overreacting, that you're overthinking, that you're just seeing what you want to see. And they play on words in such a way where they invalidate what you're feeling. And when you try to have a conversation, and it doesn't even have to be about something serious, it could just be, hey, I'm feeling this. It would just get spun around on you in such a way that tears down whatever little bit of you is left. And it almost just kind of drives a bit of fear into you, which gives them that bit of control because you're left wondering if or when they're going to slip and get physical. With all of that, you're just conditioned over time to just believe that you're not enough. You're not worthy. Your boundaries are pointless. You have no value. They don't accept you for who you are because everything about you is flawed. And the strange thing is, at least in my case, I was more afraid of them leaving me than what they would do to me. And I'm not sure, but thinking back on it, it's almost like it might have been because it would have validated those thoughts that they had convinced you of, that you mean nothing. And of everything, that's something that you just carry with you even after you're out of that situation. After years of experiencing that to different degrees with different people, the body just gets stuck in a survival mode. From there, the challenge is having to relearn what is healthy in a relationship. And in my case, how do you know what is considered healthy when you've never actually experienced it? It'd be easy for anybody to say, listen to what's in your mind, or listen to your thoughts, or listen to your gut, or see how your body's reacting. But the fact of the matter is that you'll be overthinking everything, everything. You're just doubting everything. And you go into new situations and meet new people with this caution that's just constant stress and anxiety. And when you're on edge like that, how do you know when to trust them? And then when something good happens, or when you think you met somebody good, you're just waiting for the other shoe to drop. And the body and mind are going to continue to respond as it was conditioned through that trauma. And just so everybody's clear, everybody responds differently to trauma, and there's no one-way approach, and there's no timeline to how long it takes to get better. And what worked for me or what worked for your friends might not work for you. Keep this in mind when you're talking to somebody or watching videos on the internet or reading tips on how to deal. It's not universal. Mentally, how it's going for me, my mind creates the worst case scenarios, and I still have issues from past relationships that I carry with me. I'm wondering if things are being kept from me. I worry that I'm not enough. I don't know how to trust myself, and sometimes have to step back from a situation and kind of analyze how I'm feeling to see if it's an overreaction or if I just calm down when I'm taken out of that situation. And the thing is, I was accused so often of overreacting that I have a hard time figuring out when my emotions are justified. I hesitate to bring up issues or how I'm feeling because more often than not, it was thrown back in my face. I stress that I'm the one at fault when something goes wrong. And, being under this constant stress and just mentally defeated to a point, it gets lonely. And sometimes I want to reach out to somebody, but I don't know who because I feel like I'm too much. I feel like I'm bothersome. I don't want to be considered clingy, so I don't even reach out to my friends to say hi. Body wise, when I need to have a serious conversation, and I don't mean bad, my body just responds with the worst anxiety I have ever had in my life. I'm hyperventilating, I'm sweating, I stutter, I have a hard time talking, my thoughts, there's just a traffic jam of words in my brain that I can't get out, and holy hell, the shaking. I look like I'm having a seizure. And the thing is, this still happens. Even though I know I'm safe, I can be talking to a person that I trust my life with, and I cannot stop it from happening. The most I've learned is to just pause, try to regulate my breathing, and sometimes if I have to, I'll just step away from the room until I can calm myself back down. Last year, I reconnected with somebody that I had met a couple of years ago, and he's since become one of the most important people in my life. And I tell him every so often, he knows just how much I appreciate him and how much he's helped me, but there's no way that I can truly express how much. I don't know if he truly understands just how much he's helped me heal and grow throughout the past year and a half. I can talk to him about anything. I can express myself no matter how stupid it is in my head. I can talk to him about it. And he's been so incredibly supportive and understanding of everything, my mental health, the struggling, the approaches I have to coping, like walking out of a room. And it sounds stupid. It sounds simple, but I didn't realize how important it was to have that type of communication and support with somebody until I had it. I have had full on anxiety attacks around him, and I received zero judgment, just support. And although I still have my anxiety attacks, it's not as intense and nowhere near as frequent. I feel safe, and I'm pretty sure that this is what healthy is supposed to be. But why is this type of healthy so rare to find? A quote I found in a book, The Body Holds the Trauma. Being able to feel safe with other people is probably the single most important aspect of mental health. Safe connections are fundamental to meaningful and satisfying lives. And just to be clear, I've never directed my issues towards him. I myself am responsible for treating others with respect regardless. Having been treated like shit does not give anybody the right to treat somebody else like shit. The people in your life don't have to tolerate it. It's not their responsibility. And if you can't control it, it's your responsibility to go find help so that you can learn how. I will say, even with a psychology background, I do have issues with therapists to a degree. Yes, there are many instances in which prescriptions are necessary for whatever type of regulation, anxiety, thoughts, whatever. However, in cases such as trauma, for example, where the symptoms can be managed with work, patients are simply being prescribed medication without being taught the necessary skills to deal with distressing physical and emotional reactions. If you're seeking therapy, make sure you find somebody who will invest the time in helping you develop functional coping mechanisms. Anyhow, don't get me wrong, I still stress what ifs and the possibility of getting royally fucked again, but personally, the thought of I wish I had weighs heavier. And those are opportunities that are lost and I'll never get back, which to me is far more important than limiting myself in this short life that we live. And that's pretty much what drives my hope and curiosity and my willingness to just try things. This time, though, I do have my tools, I have the lessons that I've learned, and I'm carrying that forward with me cautiously, but I'm not holding myself back from things. I don't know about you guys, but I like to learn the hows and whys of things, especially things that affect me. So let's get nerdy. Traumatized brains look different from non-traumatized brains in three predictable ways. The thinking center is underactivated, the emotion regulation center is underactivated, and the fear center is overactivated. What these activations indicate is that if you are traumatized and you have PTSD symptoms, you may experience chronic stress, vigilance, fear, and irritation. The amygdala is most commonly known for our fear responses, the fight, the flight, the freeze. It's also involved with detecting threats, triggering a body response, fear conditioning, processing positive emotions, encoding emotional memories. These reactions are spurred when trauma hits and the amygdala is trying to respond quickly to survive. So cue the amygdala hijack. The amygdala hijack refers to an intense emotional reaction that's out of proportion to the circumstance. In other words, we are 100% losing our shit. Why is this important? Because it is quite literally all in your head, and just as you were programmed into that response, you can learn to override with time, so put in the work. That said, I can't stress enough the importance of surrounding yourself with people who are supportive. That one toxic relationship, friendship, familyship, whatever can undo any type of progress that you've made. If you seek therapy and they prescribe medication, make sure they're teaching you body-mind response awareness and the situations that are triggering you, in addition to the skills that you need to take control of those reactions. If you have any questions, comments, or shared experiences, feel free to comment them below. Thanks for listening.